What's up YouTube, Xeno Gaming here for the 7th episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Here today we are at the French Grand Prix for the Paul Ricard circuit in my Alfa Romeo Sauber car. It's going to be a interesting weekend after the horrible weekend at Montreal. Here we get the energy store and the front downforce. Here's a quick look at the performance graph as we are now jumping ahead of Toro Rosso, which is really positive. But we'll throw it to David Croft for the weekend introduction.
Welcome to the Circuit Paul Ricard here in the south of France, where we're about to get underway for free practice. Anthony Davidson is here as usual to help take us through the action. And Ants, I've seen some questions on social media and other places about this current crop of F1 cars and why they're so much.
We're going to be logging some extra data during this session. Nothing you need to worry about, but as we have some new parts, we'll just confirm they're performing to spec.
Welcome to qualifying for this weekend's French Grand Prix. The teams are making their last-minute adjustments before the lights go green and the fight for pole position gets underway.
Right, it's not going to be easy getting into the next qualifying session, but we know you'll give it your all.
Welcome to qualifying here at Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix. This is my first run on a set of super soft tyres. Romano really nails this lap here as we set a 1 minute 32 flat, which is actually better than our teammate Charles Leclerc managed on a set of ultra soft tyres, and that lap time was actually good enough.
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
To get us into Q2, quite surprisingly. And now for our first lap in Q2, as you see just before we entered the session, Jeff says we are expecting rain in the 15 minutes, so we have to get our best lap in as quickly as possible as Prix goes fastest on 1 minute 31.6 there. So into here, braking at the 50 metre wall, we really want to take a lot of curb. It's the quickest way to go around this track. You're going to use the curbs as much of it as you can. And setting a purple first sector there with a 25 flat. We were really quick through the first sector this weekend, matched most of the hour through the middle sector, and they were a bit quicker than us through the third and final sector as we brake just at the start of the curb to hit the first apex nicely. Really got to turn it early for that corner to make sure you hit the apex and get your brake and point spot on. So really got to be committed on the brakes into that corner. Now here, this is one of the best corners of the track, the long right hander. I really enjoy this corner because it's just so challenging, and as you go in here it's long and it's going to be patient, pick up the throttle as early as you possibly can, drift out a bit wide there, but it's okay. Don't lose too much time there. Brake for this tough, tricky little left-hander. Now into the final section, it's down Raikkonen goes fastest on a 1 minute 31.2. Romano, while Ricciardo betters that on a 31 flat. Romano locks up slightly into the last corner, but gets the power down. Really tricky to get the power down. Open up the DRS. What time will be for Chris Romano? It's a 31.1. Actually beating Kimi Raikkonen's lap in the Sauber car. And that lap time was good enough to get us into Q3, which would be raining. So here is our first lap in Q3. And just being conservative on this lap was hoping to put in a really good lap time. And don't put in my best lap, that's the first lap. But unfortunately for Romano, he really needed to make most of that first lap because that was when the track was at its best, because the session just kept getting wetter and wetter. And this is the last lap of the session, and you can just see the grip is absolutely non-existent for Romano. And his first lap time wasn't good enough, and he cannot improve at all for the rest of the session. So that means Chris Romano will start 10th for the French Grand Prix as Sebastian Vettel takes pole from Kimi Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, Hamilton 5th, Verstappen 6th, Perez 7th, Carlos Sainz 8th, Esteban Ocon in 9th, and
Amazing performance
Romano
out there.
10th.
You must be really
He's clear for the interview.
It's been a great qualifying session for you. Are you going to carry that momentum into the race? The weather hasn't been ideal in qualifying. What's your take on it? Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Claire, for that. Now we'll throw it back to David Croft for the race introduction.
Welcome to Le Castellet as we return from across the Atlantic for the 2018 French Grand Prix. The last time Formula One cars raced at the Circuit Paul Ricard, Alain Prost took Ferrari's 100th Grand Prix victory and the 42nd of his own illustrious career. That was 28 years ago, when half of the drivers on the grid today had yet to be born. And how, I wonder, will that legacy continue in the modern era? A lap of Paul Ricard then consists of 15 corners and a total length of around 3.6 miles. Drivers will need to position their cars carefully on the exit of the flat-out turn 10, ready for the double apex right-hander at 11. Watch out for potential overtaking action at the end of the start-finish straight and into the heavy braking zone of turn 8. So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Bottas, Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Ocon, and the captain, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Romain Grosjean and Leclerc, Alonso, Gasly, Stoffel Van Dorn and Brendan Hartley. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Excellent job yesterday. We qualified above expectations. Let's go out there and put in a performance.
Thank you, Jeff. Welcome to the 2018 French Grand Prix here at Circuit Paul Ricard. Today it is a two-stop strategy, and for the first time this year, Chris Romano has qualified in Q3, so that means he will need to start on the fastest tyre he set his lap on in Q2, which will be the ultra soft tyre. And considering, as you might have seen in the little preview screen there, we will have some wet weather in the second half of this race, so I decided to put on the soft tyre instead of the super soft for the second stint, because I wanted to make sure I could get to that rain period, not having to make two dry tyre stops.
No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions looking good.
And
Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Now we're just checking the weather here with Jeff, and as you can see, for now there will be no rain for the time being as we get geared up to start the French Grand Prix. Romano pulls into his grid spot, his best qualifying of his Formula One career so far, with P10 on the grid. Can he make anything of it? Can he get a good result today? Anyway, 5 red lights. Lights out, and here we go for the French Grand Prix. And it's not the best start from Romano. Good start for Romain Grosjean. Nico Hülkenberg, who squeezes out kind of, but Romano manages to go around the outside very cautiously. Cars follow 2 by 2 here, and Hülkenberg gets a great exit off turn 2, goes around the outside and takes the position, but Romano dives it up the inside here. Bit of contact with Hülkenberg, but he keeps it round the outside. Now turns back to the inside, and he's managed to sneak up the inside of Carlos Sainz as well. So Romano gains a spot here into P9 through the first sector of the lap. Good start for Chris Romano to not get stuck behind the Renaults, who he thinks he can be faster than today. P10 might not have been where he actually lies on the grid considering his pace in the dry weather conditions. So here you can see a bit of a mistake from Romano going a bit wide. Look at the battle absolutely raging on ahead between the Ferraris, the Red Bull, the Mercedes. As you can see out front, Vettel and I believe it was Verstappen, I'm not quite sure at this point, have absolutely taken off, as you can see on the mini-map, and it's about 3 seconds already for those guys. Unbelievable. Now with the Ricardo out front, as you can see, Verstappen is in this little train that is led by Kimi Räikkönen in the Ferrari, who seems to be struggling on this opening lap, and it is absolute chaos here at the French Grand Prix. Unbelievable scenes for this opening lap as Romano drops away a bit from Ocon, but he's able to manage to bridge the gap back into the last corner. And what a frantic opening lap as Sebastian Vettel leads the opening lap of this Grand Prix. Romano lies in P9. Moving now on to lap 3. Nothing really happened, just playing follow each other. But into turn 8 now. Romano has a little late on the brakes and almost hits the back of Esteban Ocon and gets away with one there. A little lock up on the front left tyre. And now will we have an opportunity into the fast right-hander of turn 10, which is easy flat in the dry. Well, I wouldn't say easy because it is very easy to lose the back end around that corner. But anyway, no way through this time for Romano, and Ocon hasn't got a way through either on his teammate Sergio Perez, who could be holding him up. You'd wonder if Force India might be getting out the team orders to let Ocon through. He looks like he has got the faster pace at the minute between the two Force India drivers. As we are closing in on our pit stop window. It's a very early pit stop on lap 4 when you qualify on the ultra soft and quickest tyre generally for a weekend. But here into turn 1, has Romano got an opportunity with DRS? Is gaining all the time on Esteban Ocon, has a little look into turn 1, but nothing happening there. He's going to have to tuck back in behind. And now later on lap 4, he's got another opportunity. He's going to try and dive it down the inside. Ocon cuts him off. Good racing between these three. And even Hulkenberg's still right in this battle. He's overtaken his teammate Carlos Sainz, and Hulkenberg is on the super soft tyre, which is interesting that he's got better pace than his teammate who is on the ultra soft tyre. But now into turn 11, Romano's having a look up the inside of Esteban Ocon, and he makes it work. Great move by Romano, great confidence, and he's clearly being held up here. But now he's going to be coming into the pits on lap 4 for his first pit stop of the race. It's an early pit stop when you qualify on the softest set of tyres for the weekend, and he has maybe doing the undercut on Sergio Perez as well, so we'll see if he can make his pit stop and come out ahead of Perez as he locks up aggressively into the pit lane, trying to gain all the time. You can see Mercedes are in, Ferrari and Red Bull in for the first round of stops. It's been a good opening stint for Romano. Ends up being in 8th place as he now straps on the soft tyre, hoping to get him as close as possible to the rain period. Now moving on to the next
minutes
lap,
from now,
Sergio Perez is coming out of the pit lane, and Perez has come out ahead, so the undercut has not worked for Chris Romano. He's going to have to follow the Force India driver who has put on the super soft tyre. Carlos Sainz comes out behind Romano. He is also on the super soft tyre. Not an ideal way for Romano, but maybe he can get past Perez down the Mistral straight and setting blistering pace through the first sector. Romano's been really quick.
Okay, car ahead is now running the super soft tyre. That's the super soft on the car ahead.
Thanks for that information, Jeff. I just stated that. But anyway, with DRS here, we're pulling very close to Perez here as Romano, but he isn't close enough under brakes to make a move into turn 8. Now he's going to have to follow Perez. Maybe he has an opportunity through to the fast right-hander of turn 10. Here we go, slipstream overtake mode on the ERS, rich mix for the engine, and he's down the inside, turn 10. That is brave right there. That is not an easy move to pull off. Perez tries to stick around the outside of turn 11, but he is unable to do so. So Romano takes off what is P17 for the time being, effectively P7-ish on track. But now on the next lap, Perez is having a go here with DRS. Romano defends the inside, and Perez is not able to make it work around the outside. No way through that way. You'd have to be really alongside and even ahead to make it work that way around. But can Perez do what Romano did to him?
Peak out to the car ahead is 3.6 seconds.
Not quite close enough for Sergio Perez. But will he dive into turn 11? He's not quite close enough as well. And he just sits behind the Australian, who could be frustrating him. But now into turn 1 at the start of lap 8, as you can see, I think that is Bottas who has been undercut by this lot. Anyway, Perez round the outside, and it has not worked for Sergio, and Romano cuts him off, and Perez loses a bit of time from taking a poor line through turn 2, and this would really benefit Romano because he's able to pull out a margin on Perez and actually avoid being in the DRS zone. He would get out of Perez's DRS zone, which would be vital because Romano believes he has the pace to be quicker than Perez, and as long as he hasn't got that DRS pointed along, he can get away. And you can see now we have gapped Perez moving on to lap 11, overtaking Brendan Hartley.
Okay, good work, great pass.
Who is yet to make his first pit stop, and now the next target is Stoffel Van Dorn. And you can see as well that Romano hasn't really lost touch with Max Verstappen since they've come out of the pit lane, despite being on the softer tyre. The harder tyre, I should say. And now, really closing up to Van Dorn here. Will he have a go into the tough turn 11? Not quite, no way through. Van Dorn really slow. The McLaren Renault is a really draggy car. It's not been performing well, and Stoffel is really struggling to get a handle on this car. He's much slower compared to his teammate Fernando Alonso. But anyway, Romano, will he have an opportunity through the final corner? Will he have a go into turn 15? Not quite close enough. He decides to sit behind for now. And now we move onto the main straight. Will Romano be able to use DRS to get past Stoffel Van Dorn?
We're not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix too soon.
So Van Dorn has been overtaken, and now Romano moves into P11. Moving on to lap 13, the virtual safety car has been deployed because Lance Stroll is out of the race. And as we come through turn 10 here, as you can see on the right hand side, Daniel Ricciardo's had a big
slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace. Right, some information on Ricciardo. They are out of the race.
Daniel Ricciardo is out of the French Grand Prix. Unbelievable. Bad luck for Daniel Ricciardo. That Red Bull and Renault reliability has not worked out well. But now we move on to lap 18, which will be the start of the rain. It's starting to rain. As you can see as well, Valtteri Bottas has passed all the other drivers behind. He's now caught us to us, and we're really struggling with this.
This rain isn't likely to go away soon. Heavy rain in 10 minutes time.
Well, what do you know? But anyway, we move on. This soft tyre is really struggling. Look, he's struggling for grip. He has no grip on this soft tyre, and Valtteri Bottas in the better car is all over him. Probably adapted to the conditions with the extra downforce he probably has in his Mercedes car. So now Valtteri Bottas has an easy opportunity. DRS is still available, I'm pretty sure, at this stage, and he flies by Romano and it slots in, and Romano's not even going to bother fighting it. He's not going to win this battle against the Mercedes
driver. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
And now it is time to pit for the intermediate tyre. It started raining, I think, at the start of lap 17, and it's already time for intermediate tyres. That's how quickly the rain has come down here at Paul Ricard. So, and now we see on the right hand side of the track,
remember to pit this lap.
Stoffel Van Dorn out of the French Grand Prix as well. Just a disaster for Stoffel Van Dorn. There's now Romano. He comes in for his intermediate tyres, and he's been held in the pits because of Valtteri Bottas, and Sergio Perez is closed right up to this battle pack as well. It's going to be an interesting last 8 laps.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Come out on top and try and get that final podium position. As
Charles is in for his
Grosjean really comes out of. Romano comes out of the pits quite dangerously. A bit of contact with Grosjean, but he's still on the dry tyre here, so it should be an easy move for Chris Romano as he half-heartedly goes up the inside, and Romano's hit Grosjean. He's contact between the two, and Romano looks like he's suffered a bit of damage. Unfortunate for the Australian. Grosjean really just turned in on him, but not really Grosjean's fault, just a half-hearted attempt at an overtake by Chris Romano, and
DRS has been disabled by the stewards.
He almost
DRS
takes out the sign,
offline.
absolutely extending the track. They're making his own track out there. He's struggling with the downforce now, as there's just a lack of turning ability. You can see the understeer from the damaged front wing. Anyway, now Sergio Perez is looking to mount a challenge for that final podium spot. Who will be able to take third? It's a three-way battle pack, as Romano, Perez and Vettel all trying to vie for the last podium spot. Yes, that is Sebastian Vettel. He's made a 2-stop race where Raikkonen, who was out front, Bottas second, Romano in third, and Perez in fourth, have only stopped once for the dry tyres, where Vettel stopped twice for the dry tyres, plus an intermediate stop. So it's been 3 stops for Vettel, 2 stops for the rest of the top 4, and this is why he's found himself in an ordinary position. And now it looks like it's for one Kimi Raikkonen, who was struggling at the start of this race. It looks like he has a commanding lead over Valtteri Bottas, who has absolutely skipped away from Romano, who's now really struggling with the car, but he's managed to keep Perez and Vettel at bay, who now on lap 25 go side by side. Sebastian Vettel finally makes the move on Sergio Perez, but Perez hadn't really troubled Romano. Romano was just keeping that gap steady. But now Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari, a much better car than the Force India, is going to have a look on lap 26 into turn 8. He's pulled out of the slipstream. Is he going to dive bomb? Not quite on this occasion. Romano goes deep under brakes and holds the position just for now. But a big tank slapper for Chris Romano. Now Vettel's going to be all over him. He's going to have a huge opportunity into turn 10. The fast right-hander. Is Vettel brave enough to go down the inside? No, he's not in these conditions. But
there's
Romano
only one lap
struggles.
of fuel remaining.
He's understeered off the track, and now Vettel's got an opportunity into turn 11. He muscles his way down the inside. Romano brakes a bit, lets Vettel take the poor line, and look at that. The switchback move, it's on here. Vettel cruising to the side of Romano, puts up the hand of frustration, and now as Vettel loses the back end a bit there, and a bit more contact for these two. And
okay, you have some
Romano
front wing damage, but not enough to justify
place.
a stop in the remaining laps.
And still third for Romano, fourth for Vettel, fifth for Perez, as Verstappen has caught up to this battling trio, and really quite interesting. Will Vettel have the opportunity to get past Romano into turn 1 on this occasion? Not quite close enough. And now we come to the last corner of the last lap. Kimi Raikkonen has won the French Grand Prix, Valtteri Bottas second, and Romano picks up his second career podium in Formula 1.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
So Romano finishes third, Vettel fourth, Perez fifth, and Verstappen sixth. That's Kimi Raikkonen, your race winner.
To take the victory today. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
It's a heroic effort for any drivers to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and have the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into first place here today.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium.
So here you can see the final results: Raikkonen, Bottas, Romano, Perez, Vettel, Hamilton, Verstappen, Magnussen, Hulkenberg and Ocon. That is your top 10. Our teammate Charles Leclerc finishes 11th. Van Dorn, Ricciardo and Stroll have all retired from the race. Here you can see the driver standings. Kimi Raikkonen now has a 21-point lead over his teammate Sebastian Vettel, and he's starting to take a little bit of control in this championship. Ferrari have a nice 94-point lead in the constructors. Sauber has moved up to 6th place in the constructors behind Chris Romano's excellent form and podium. Now we move on to a post-race interview with Claire.
Amazing performance out there. You must be really happy. Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today? You must be thrilled to be up on the podium. Would you say that your rival is still on your level? You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you? Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Claire. And now we, post-race, will be getting another contract negotiation. And here is the contract we are able to negotiate
Okay,
with
that
Sauber.
proposal looks good. It seems all parties are happy with the deal, so it'll commence at the next race weekend.
So, as you can see, we did get level 3 on the race bonus, which will hopefully give us more resource points. Resource points, I should say. I struggled to get my words out there. To help us upgrade the car. Here, I decided to upgrade a few more reliability parts, as I thought the Sauber car right now was performing well enough we could still battle with the midfield pack at this stage, it seems like. So I thought we'll upgrade some durability parts, and maybe in the next episode when we get even more resource points from that contract perk upgrade, we can improve the car. But so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode today. Please leave your feedback in the comments section below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe for more F1 gaming content on the channel. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.